Thing. So the out of body state, I spent years battling with my own fear of my own belief systems that something could touch me. And it wasn't until I got rid of the fear and I'm like, I don't care. Kill my soul if you want to. And I realized, well, you can't actually touch it because I'm an eternal being. And that's when I broke through. You could say I accessed all of these things. Now, with the near-death experience people, when it comes to the negative things, you'll find if you hold a strong belief system, a really strong belief system, you create these dimensional spaces. So a dimensional space is similar to a dream. So you're creating a space, you're creating a thought form creation within your field, your own space. So when you hold a strong belief system, you will manifest these spaces, these fear-based things. And you'll find, let's just say, for instance, people believe in hell and eternal damnation. And they hold that strong belief system. When they cross over, they will temporarily experience that, if that is in the core of their belief, until they say, I've had enough, please help me. And they reach out, and then they access all things again, and they break free from it. That's why the fear-based things is always temporary until they access the divinity again and the light of everything. And the same thing is with the out-of-body state as well, So, yeah, nothing could touch you. Nothing could touch or entrap your soul unless you believe it to be so. Is no different from a near-death experience. So when you leave your body, there's a controlled process that you could do to leave your body. Your soul will exit. So when you shut down the body, you lower the magnetic field of the physical body. And when the soul leaves, you're able to access the other side. Now, one of the first things that will happen once you leave your body is you will obviously leave the body if you're on the bed, and you'll turn around and you'll see yourself sleeping on the bed as you are in your soul. And your soul is more physical than the physical body. Your soul's physical because you're accessing more of the light spectrum, more of all that is. As here, we're cut off from all that is. You access time, you access the records. I've accessed the heavenly realms, the heavenly records, the halls of Amente. I've seen my passed away relatives as well, my Uncle Bob, and been shown outside of this construct completely as well. What will not understand this terminology, but for people to make them to understand it more, think about when I say construct as the universe. So outside the universe, seeing the creation, back into the void, seeing all those things. So that's what an out-of-body state is when you do it, because you're leaving the body and you're accessing your divinity again and the truth of who we actually are. And actually speak that frequency, walk through the certain portals, and therefore be in another location. So let's say, for instance, if I'm in Australia, they would go to a pyramid location, a portal. They would enter that portal and end up into America. So let's just say traveling was instant because they were bringing more of their soul within the body. This is why they had more of their DNA turned on. Let's say the 12 helix DNA was all turned on, because they were able to bring more of their soul, more of their spirit, more of their essence into the physical body to activate these dormant abilities. But now a lot of people are suppressed. So this is why it's harder to activate these things again or remember these things, because we're not bringing in our, let's just say, light body for people to understand.
So would that be the reason why yogis and walking masters, ascended masters, are able to do quote unquote miracles, because they are elevating their frequency to a level that they're connecting to their soul and allowing more of that divine energy to come into their body, where they can basically, and I always use this term, but become Neo in the Matrix? You start to understand the code and start to manipulate the code. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So that's in essence what's happening. If we're viewing it from there with the Matrix, is the more that your soul comes in, and I've stated this before with you too, the more that your soul pours into the physical body, the more youthfulness you have, even when you're older, because your soul is generating the body or sustaining the body. Yeah. So when a lot of these quotation masters in the past and even now as well, because right now we're in a period where people are remembering who they are. They're getting the full memories back. So in that period of time, they understood the belief systems and the will of the soul. So they understood what you believe in, you will start to create things as well. And this is no different as well, Alex, than the placebo effect as well. Mm-hmm. If someone believes in something strong enough, they will therefore create it. This is why people that have lost their faith in themselves, they put it in someone else. They put it in God, higher authority, you, me, whoever. So they put their faith in other people because they've lost it within themselves. And what ends up happening due to that is they end up healing or fixing things in their life. And then they say, oh, it was that person that has done it for me. But no, it's merely their belief in that person was strong enough that they've done it themselves. You see? So a lot of these masters understood this as well. They understood the power of the word, the power of their frequency, their essence, and their soul coming in. And they understood who they were, how powerful they were, that they are the ultimate authority, just like every other soul. And they were able to reprogram their cells, because right now, scientifically, you could reprogram the structure of water. That which you speak, water will take the form of. What is the body? It's water, the cells as well. So we could start to reprogram the body and the cells of that which we think and that which we speak, because what we think and speak, we become. No different from what we eat, we become as well. Yeah.
So that makes sense.
This is why when you come out through sleep paralysis in that state, it's a gateway to the other side. You stay calm, you create distance. And when you create distance from the body, this is where, if you are fearless, which you should always be fearless, because nothing could touch your soul, it's untouchable, then this is where you start to access records, information. You start commanding your space of that which you want to access, and you start to access that information. And this is, I want to make this clear too, Alex. This is not just me saying this now. This is all also through the countless successes that people have had through doing this as well, through just practicing simple principles of that which I teach, you know?
So when you say accessing records, what are you talking about? The Akashic records, what kind of records are you talking about?
So there's, you can access your soul records, what people call the Akashic. And your soul records are your soul records, what you have done in the past, everything, every experience that you had is within your soul records. Right now, you, me, and everybody right here are in their greatest form right now, in forgetfulness. So everything that you're doing, you are the accumulation of everything that you've experienced here right now in forgetfulness. But when you access the soul records, you start to get information of why you start doing things, why you start doing things the way you do things here, act the way you act, think the way you think, etc. And so you're accessing everything, and you could start to view your records as almost like a hologram, for instance. Like you could actually see yourself playing things out in a particular time, in a particular area, and actually see yourself doing things. This is also where it goes into the life review as well, which I was given one. This was years ago, and when I started actually doing this work, it's the reason why I started doing this work, which is through my Uncle Bob showing me things that I was doing here, certain scenarios. Like I was actually seeing things that I was doing here, withholding love, doing certain things, and getting a short life review. And then this is where I started to go, okay, well, what do I end up doing? And he said, well, waking people up to the other side is considered the great work. And that's what I started doing. That's the whole reason why I've even stepped up, because I know what awaits me on the other side. I know what I do here matters. And I know also the steps that I take and the things that I do in integrity for the information and integrity for myself is very important, because when I leave, I'm the one that needs to look at myself, and same with every other soul. And this is what I was talking about before, Alex, is that when you see things and you wake up to the records of your soul records, your life review, and the other records that I'll get into, you start acting in accordance to the best of your ability of that which you would do when you're on the other side. The highest frequencies is unconditional love, integrity, and authenticity. Those are the highest frequencies. And when you step into that state, you are actually there in that state of unconditional love. This is the stuff that starts to repair your soul, well, in a sense, like it's like you're back home again. You could feel it. It starts to repair the body in a sense too, because frequency targeted at the body or certain things that you listen to will start to break down things within the body, or your field, your electromagnetic field will start to get lower. And this electromagnetic field, when it's low, starts to create a lot of the illnesses and diseases within the body. The more that this is back up into those unconditional love, integrity, and authenticity, holding that high state of frequency, then your magnetic field from your heart is so large, and it starts to generate like a toroidal field. Like everything's a toroidal field in all creation. And, you know, the construct that we're in is a toroidal field. Your body, your heart is a toroidal field. It generates this electromagnetic field.